Hello everyone, and today I'm going to talk about social learning factors in aggression and violence. Social learning theory explains that aggressive behavior is often learned through observation, imitation, and reinforcement. This means that people are not always born with aggressive and violent behaviors. Instead, aggression can develop through experiences, and also by watching behaviors of other people around them. According to Bandura, which is a psychologist, people learn many behaviors socially, and especially during childhood. The environment that someone grows up in can also strongly influence how they react to anger and frustration and conflict. One of the most important ideas in social learning theory is modeling, which is also called observational learning. Modeling happens when people observe someone else's behavior and then also imitate it. Children are especially likely to copy behaviors that they see from parents and siblings and teachers and friends, and even like characters in movies and TV shows and video games. If children constantly see aggression being used to solve problems, that they may begin to believe that it's normal and acceptable. For example, like if a child watches an adult yell and hit and threaten others, or also be physically violent when they're mad, the child may eventually respond the same way during stressful situations like what they saw. The chapter of the text gives an example of a father being frustrated after a very stressful day and then reacting by slamming his fist and kicking his chair. And then his young child watches this happen, and then later when the child becomes frustrated, he copies the same behaviors. This example shows how children easily imitate what they observe, even if the adults around them don't realize that they're teaching and reinforcing those behaviors. Children are constantly learning from everyone around them, whether the lessons are positive or negative. Another study that's connected to social learning theory is the Bobo doll experiment, conducted by Bandura. In the study, children watch adults act aggressively towards a toy called Bobo. And the adults kicked it and punched it and yelled at it, different bad phrases, and some children saw the adult being rewarded, while others also saw the adult being punished after the fact. And then later, when the children were placed in the same room with the doll, the children who saw the aggression rewarded acted the most aggressively themselves, and vice versa. And then this experiment did show that people can learn behavior simply by watching others, even just in one moment. It also showed that rewards and consequences, they're no matter what. People are more likely to repeat it. The study also showed differences between boys and girls, and boys tended to be more physical and have more physical aggressive than the girls during this experiment. This may reflect society because sometimes aggression is encouraged more in boys than in girls, and it's not really encouraged for girls. Boys are told to toughen up and not to show emotion, and girls are not told those things. Because of those expectations, aggression can become connected to ideas about masculinity and power. And then also family influence is another strong factor in the social learning theory related to aggression. Parents are children's first role models, and when parents solve conflicts calmly and respectfully, children are more likely to develop healthy coping skills. And when children see domestic violence or harsh punishments and screaming in their home life, they could copy those behaviors themselves and into the future. Research in the chapter showed that physical punishment by parents is connected to aggression in children. This may be because children may learn that hurting others is an acceptable way to gain control, like what they saw. Reinforcement is another important part of the social learning theory also. Reinforcement means a behavior is encouraged because it leads to some type of reward over and over again. Aggression may continue if it helps someone get attention or what they want. If a child bullies another student and receives laughter or approval, the bullying may continue because it had a positive effect. It made them happy because other people liked them for that. Even negative reinforcement can strengthen aggression. If someone uses aggression to stop teasing or avoid embarrassment, they may use it because it worked for them before, in the past. Peer groups also have a major influence, especially during the teenage years. It's who you surround yourself with. Teenagers usually care a lot about fitting in and getting approval from friends. If their group encourages fighting and bullying, they may feel pressure to act similarly. Same with alcohol and drugs. In some schools, aggression may be admired or connected to popularity or respect. This can be make where violence becomes normalized. Communities and cultures can also shape aggression, similar with peer groups. In some communities, aggressive behavior is more common and can be shown as a sign of strength, so more people want to do it. In other cultures, peace and cooperation are rewarded, and people in social learning theory, people adapt to behaviors in their environment and what's encouraged. And aggression isn't really a natural instinct. Instead, society plays a huge role in teaching people how to behave. And lastly, media is an important influence. Television and movies and video games expose people to aggressive behavior constantly, and violent scenes are often not accurate and portrayed as exciting and entertaining. Social media can also spread aggression through bad comments and cyberbullying. While violent media by itself does not make someone violent, exposure can affect different attitudes and not give them a real world view on what's happening. People could be desensitized to violence or view it as more acceptable. Social learning theory also acknowledges biology and argues that biology alone does not determine aggressive behavior. Some people could naturally be more impulsive or emotional. So all in all, it's not just biology. It's everything that's around you, your whole environment that affects you. So when a lot of people say about it's just biology, social learning theory does not reinforce this. Different factors play a major role in aggression and violence. So through different reinforcement and peer pressure and video games and media can all affect a person's aggression, and especially a children's one. So you just have to be more careful of how you act, especially towards children around you.